Hey y'all, this is Katie with Following the Funk. If you have been following along on our Instagram account, you have seen on all of our stories that our trip has happened. You can pop over to our Instagram and you can see 3 separate highlights of our Black Sea road trip. Today I'm going to share with you 5 tools that I used to plan this trip. If you are just now tuning in, my husband Jason, our daughter Sophia, and we live in Izmir, Turkey. We are from the States. We moved to Izmir, Turkey 4 years ago. You can watch a video about that. My husband and I had a podcast that we shared our transition of moving internationally and what that looks like. It has now morphed into a website that we hosted our podcast on, as well as now we have these YouTube videos. We like to share with you our lives in Turkey, the ups and downs of expat living, and all of our travels kind of along the way. If you're new here and you would like to follow along, please subscribe. We would love to have you tune in to our weekly videos. Today I'm going to share with you a little bit more about our travels. If you have been following along with us, you know that we just took 2 weeks and we went along the Black Sea coast of Turkey. It's the north coast. So this summer we were on the south coast, the Mediterranean coast, and now we are going to be up on the north coast of Turkey. Think Switzerland, but in the northeast part of Turkey. It's absolutely gorgeous. I have been wanting to do this trip for a very, very, very long time. But because of the nature of Jason's work, we do a lot of traveling and working at the same time. Let me scoot that over. Jason does a lot of the travel and working at the same time. It is kind of how our lives just work. So there's not a lot of vacation days that he takes. He usually just works less some days, or he works more some days. And that's the same for this trip. So I really wanted to take this trip in September because September is one of the perfect times to go up to the Black Coast kind of region of Turkey. I'll talk to you a little bit more about that. But I didn't think it was going to happen until Jason's birthday came in September. And usually on your birthday, I'm the one giving the gifts, to Jason. But Jason also surprised me by saying he had thought through this 2-week road trip that I was wanting to take with our almost 2-year-old, so our 1-year-old. He set aside some time and he looked at tickets, he looked at car rentals, and he's like, this is when we can do it, let's go. I had 10 days from Jason's birthday to the time that we left to get everything actually organized and planned. You would think that if this is what I really, really wanted to do, that I would just have this trip already planned and we'd just be like, yeah, let's go. And then all of a sudden I just book all this stuff. It was not the case. I went through 3 or 4 days of just stressing about how this was going to work. Today I'm going to share with you 5 tools that I use to plan this trip. These tools are tools I use all the time. Any type of trip we're going to take, these are tools that I most definitely use. Tried and true go-tos for traveling anywhere. The first tool that I use is Google Maps. And you're like, duh, everybody uses Google Maps. No, not everyone uses Google Maps, but what I like to use within Google Maps is My Places. So you can create your own separate little Google map for every trip that you take. I'm going to show you a little bit of a demo of how I use Google Maps, but more importantly, how I use My Places within Google Maps to work through these trip planning ideas that I have. You can go into Google Maps, and then within Google Maps, you go to your places, and then you go to your saved places, and you can save a map. And that map is only for this trip that we take. And those pins don't show up on your normal Google Maps. So if any of you use Google Maps, I'm going to give you a quick tutorial. You can pin and label things in Google Maps. I think you can do the same thing in Apple but I use Google Maps just because, sorry Apple, it is just more user friendly. And I've been using it for a long, long time. But you can do the same in Apple, is label things and pin things and save them. So for a very long time, I have been saving spots that I found on Instagram or recommendations from other friends on where to go in this area. So I've got all of these pins on where to go and what to see in the Trabzon or Rize area. And unfortunately, like I said, they do not show up on yours. When you create a saved map, it is starting from scratch. So it doesn't overlap. It is just this map. You can start from scratch and you can share it with anybody. I had suggested this trip to some friends a while back, so I'd already started this kind of road trip map of things that I wanted to see. And I labeled things by categories: sites to see, villages to see, places to eat, and then I created directions, road trip map. And let me say, it's not just for a trip that I'm actually going to take. These are like dream trips that I want to take one day. I just go ahead and I start on my places. I start a map in a location of somewhere that I want to go, and then I keep it aside for like this dream one day of going. It's probably some like Enneagram 7 inside of me that like it always has a plan to go somewhere and be ready to like do something in the future. This is how I work. One downside to using my maps is that you always have to go into my maps to use it. So if you're using my maps and you have all of these, pins saved, then it doesn't just transfer over into your Google Maps. As well as your Google Maps pins don't just transfer onto your maps. It is literally like a brand new map that doesn't have any of your old pins, but it also doesn't go onto your Google Maps and mess up your old pins as well. It is like a clean slate that you are working from, that you only have one trip on. Another thing that's great about Google Maps is that you can share it with other people. So say we've got another family that's coming on our trip. They also want access to see how we're doing this. This is kind of how it all got started. In 2017, we did a 6-week trip through Asia, which I haven't talked about much, but our friends that live in Saudi Arabia, who are also Americans, started this Google Maps with us, shared it, and then we were able to both look at the same map and work on our itineraries together. And it made it so much easier to talk and plan about our travels. The second tool that I use is Google Flights. Jason actually used Google Flights more than I do, but for travel within Turkey, I actually prefer not to use Expedia or cheap tickets or cheapo air, those types of things. Within Turkey, it's actually better if you just go straight to the airline websites and use those websites there. So airlines like Turkish Airlines, Sun Express, Fly Pegasus, these are 3 websites that you can use to travel within Turkey. I'm from the States, and if you are from the States and you're watching this video, you're like, that's crazy, wouldn't it be crazy expensive? Because that's how it works in America. It's always cheaper to buy from some type of third-party provider of these tickets, and it's not. It's actually much cheaper to just go to the actual website of the airlines and purchase from there. The third website we use are car rental websites. We tend to start with carrentals.com. Sometimes we also use the airline's website. If they have a car rental section of their website, we will start there as well. For this trip, the airlines that we used had a car rental section, and so we checked to see what the prices of the car rentals would be and maybe see what companies would service what we were looking for. And basically from there, we just went to the actual website. So we used a company called wendycar.com, which we haven't used before, and we just actually booked our rental car straight from their website. The fourth tool that I use for lodging is hotels.com. There are many sites that you can use for booking lodging within Turkey, but we have found that hotels.com has been the easiest. If you are coming from outside of Turkey, or if you're a foreigner and you don't know this, booking.com is not supposed to be used in Turkey. Yes, you can use it with a VPN, but you may find that you have extra charges when you go to a hotel because it's not supposed to be used within Turkey, even if you can access it outside of Turkey. So for us, we have been using hotels.com, and it's been really, really handy for us. We found what we've needed. Plus, they have a great program. For every 10 nights that you stay in a hotel, you get a free night's hotel. Sometimes after you stay at a hotel and you write a review, they give you bonus night codes for writing reviews about certain hotels. Sometimes you get extra perks of using this website that you may not get if you just go straight to the hotels. I've heard that people in Turkey just go straight to the hotel and ask about a price. I have found that quite a few hotels have been cheaper on hotels.com than if I go straight to the Turkish hotel and ask them how much it is. If we're gonna be in a place for a longer time and we want a kitchen area, we want an extra bedroom, you know, a little bit more of an apartment style amenities place, we use Airbnb. They are homes that have access in areas that maybe hotels are just crazy expensive. So say downtown Chicago, the hotels are $200 or $300, but maybe an Airbnb would be half the cost of that and get way more space. From my understanding, there are some rules about using Airbnbs in Turkey now. They have come and gone and changed and moved that we're still using them and we haven't had any problem. Don't let me change that, please. Okay, the fifth tool that I use is using notes on my Apple iPhone. Whatever phone you have, if you probably have some type of note saving app on your phone, or you can get one. In the past, I have always used Google Drive because of the capability that you can share it with other people. But because my husband and I both have notes, and now we have the capability to share notes between one another, then I tend to use notes for almost everything now. And the reason that I do that is because I can access it offline without any problems. Using Google Drive in the past means that I always have to have internet when I go someplace, and if you're moving from one country to another and you don't have internet service and you forgot to download that one little thing that you needed, then you're kind of out of luck. You have to find internet in order to access Google Drive if you forget to download or keep some of these documents offline. I tend to be forgetful, and so there's always something that just doesn't make the cut. I created an itinerary. I put all of our hotel stays there. I put all of our car rental information in there as well. It is a very, very handy tool that I found. I'm able to just save things to my notes quickly. I'm just able to save things there quickly and access them quickly, and it makes my travel a lot less stressful when I'm looking for documents and information that I need. I said I was only going to do 5 tools, but I have a bonus one. My other tip that I suggest if you love travel, or if you're looking to travel somewhere you've never been before, is to check out TripAdvisor, Expedia, or better yet, just check out tours that are being given by third-party providers to wherever you're going. So say you want to go to Ankara, which is where we were going, and you're not sure what sites you want to see, you can spend time on Pinterest and going through a ton of different websites, or you could go to TripAdvisor and just say day trip in Ankara and see who provides tours, and usually the tour guide provides a day summary of what you're going to do and what you're going to pay for on that tour. And usually it covers all the sites that you would want to see, especially if you only have a day in a place. So for Ankara, that is what I did. I went online, I typed in day tour, paid day tour or tour guide in Ankara, and then I looked to see what places they were going to take me on my day tour in Ankara. It is also what I did for some of the sites that we visited along the way for our Black Sea tour. And so then it gave me an idea, oh, do I want to go to this place? Do I want to go to that place? Or how much time did they spend in this city versus this city? Like, it gives you an idea of what all you could maybe do in a day if you have a car. It also gives you an idea of maybe I need more time in this city because this tour is actually spending more time in this city. So that would be one of my bonus tips. So that is what we have used to plan our 2-week road trip from Izmir to Rize. And Turkey has so much to offer, and it's such a beautiful place, and I just want you to be able to see it as well. So stay tuned, because every Friday for the next 7 Fridays, I'm going to share with you our road trip along the Black Sea so that you can one day be able to go and experience it for yourself. But also, if you can't, you get to experience a little bit vicariously through following the funks. As always, I really appreciate you being here. Please leave a note in the comments below about a tool that you use and that you think that I should know about. I'm not the only one here, so if someone's watching this video and they're curious about what other tools people use to travel, please let them know by leaving a comment below, because I always love finding new tools, and I'm sure other people who are here do too. As always, thank you so much for following along with our adventure. As always, thank you so much for following along, and as always, I hope you have a great week, and until next time, I will see you later. Bye. Güle güle. Görüşürüz.